done this week, man?
You know what I've done?
What about you? What have you got accomplished this week?
Well, I've managed to get the storyboards done, animatic done, animatic with sound.
Yeah.
Just wait until Wednesday when I can have a bash at trying to do some POV stuff with.
How are you gonna do that, then?
Well, I'm just trying to think. My brother's got a tripod at home that's about, let's say about year high off the desk like that, and I've got like a small bag.
Doesn't work.
We tried everything.
You know.
Doesn't work at all.
No.
This is the problem we have today, and we have to fix. We have a really big issue at this point. Development work for. Anyways, we have a big problem because the POV method that we're supposed to be trying to use will not work.
We can't do it unless we have an actual rig.
Unless we have we can construct something using the whole pipe helmet idea.
Very easily.
Connected to the head.
Yeah.
It allows us free movement. We can't do the POV animation.
Spent yesterday trying to do this.
This week, I'm hoping everybody's at least attempted doing a rotoscope idea. Because if you haven't attempted doing a rotoscope, then even the probability you won't be able to do the animation either, because from what we've also, what I've done, using Photoshop and Flash. Although it's a time-consuming technique, which, regardless of animation thing, it's to the point where we can't even do the animation. We won't have enough content.
All time.
By the time to even properly even render it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what style you're going for.
Didn't you say that with your one, you did about, how many, 12 frames or something, and it took you?
I did 375, which is.
I started doing a test because you were there when I converted that video, but again, I did about 3 frames, and it took me almost half an hour to do 3 frames. And
3 frames?
Yeah, do you know what, 4 frames, sorry, and to be honest, it wasn't that great. I was, even with, you know, if you spend like a couple of weeks just solely concentrating on that, it seems like it's just too much hassle. I know people do it for the living and stuff, but
Not so much that, it's just the issue I think we have is that we don't have, due to the time frame we have now, it would be impossible to get everything done.
Also, I mean, me and Alex can quite easily do it because we obviously know the software. He knows more than me, but we kind of know the software. We can quite easily.
If you guys haven't practiced this week, then you really don't give yourself anything. Have you done a rotoscope test?
No. But I've done a test and then doing the traditional now.
You done a traditional rotoscope?
Yeah, I've got a test for that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's more of the option I would be going for.
How did you do it?
Well, I was watching, when you do videos, place them all together and then you take screenshots of each frame and then turn them around.
Oh,
and then what you do is you print them off and then you trace over it and then you just do the unique shots.
Now that's the thing I was thinking of doing myself, but mine was a bit opposite. The idea for mine was, the style I was going to do was, it's traditional, but digitally traced because of the printing. Because these will be printed in colour, and the napkin really strangely printed. So if it was printed just black and white, it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I was going to say that's the sort of thing I'd be doing like at home, because obviously, like, you know, I can abuse the printer as much as I want at home. Like, you know, exactly. It's the same route I was gonna go for with mine. Like, even if it got to a point where we didn't like trace every single individual frame, like just trace like the main few bits. Yeah. That's the sort of thing I was originally thinking. Yeah.
But there's only one issue. If you guys haven't tested using a rig, then you're not going to get it done.
No.
We spent the whole day yesterday. We spent about 4 hours trying to fix this.
And his is much simpler than yours.
Mine's just walking.
And we couldn't get it.
Yours is moving the rest of
a lot.
It's not going to work.
I mean, the sort of thing about mine is, I'll just sort of do an example with the camera now. Like, literally, I'll be sort of like, you know, I'll put the thing down. There's the rest. It comes at, like, I sort of look around a little bit. The rest comes at me, tip backwards. Sort of thing.
The rig will fall out.
It will.
It'll probably fall out.
It's just the sort of thing I'm trying to think of. Like, me and my dad have been discussing how we could make the helmet rig. So, like, we'd obviously need it so the say you'd have the helmet. You'd need like the bit off the top of the tripod that actually screws the camera in. Like, if you can just get those by themselves, I don't know. But like, you'd have to.
Even if it means investing in a cheap ass tripod.
Well, yeah, I mean, like all.
It's not a screw or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, we we
Well,
literally
exactly.
wandered around the shops for about half an hour trying to find like a head torch or something that we could maybe use, but we just
Couldn't find that, yeah.
We checked out. What did we check? We checked.
We tried to power because I remember Charles suggested that they had these like a miners magnet. The idea is we could have probably used one of them, but there wasn't anything.
But another thing is, I don't know if we have like enough time left to like construct a rig and then go about doing all the animation, because at this point we should probably be actually animating. We should have done all this, but because we messing around with it.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Another thing as well is if we can't get a rig, or you can't have it where it's positioned, where it's connected to your head, you can't get the motions. We tried doing mine where we extracted to the side of it.
Yeah.
And tried moving around, and we tried tricking it. In here, we sort of almost got it.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that when you're moving around, yeah.
Also, there are too many. We found that there were too many variables outside, like weather and people and stuff. Because like
mainly the weather, that's the issue.
Yeah.
And another problem is when we try doing the test shot, if it's not here, we can't tell if the shot's working. So, because I did this twice before the weather got bad. Well, I went back, Carolyn attached it to my arm. That was a fiddle trying to get the shot correct.
Yeah.
And once we got to the point we thought it was reasonable, I had to walk to the end of the street and walk back again.
But
the thing is that when I was trying to move, trying to get the shots that I did in the storyboard, I could barely move because it just strapped my arm and it nearly fell off.
Also, what we found was like, because he has to look up, and you can't like if you position the camera to sort of look down slightly, then you'd have to over-exaggerate the look up, and it doesn't work. Yeah.
And if nobody else has done any tests, because this is just from what we've discovered.
Yeah.
If you haven't done any tests, you lot won't know how yours is going to turn out, how it will turn out.
Yeah.
You haven't done much tests.
Yeah.
Yours is probably the most concerned. You've done a test already. How long does it take you? How many seconds have you done? Yeah.
It's 29 seconds long. It's all the ones.
Try. We'll have a look at that. See how yours works. We might try with mine or everything else. But ours is the footage together, and yours is the most. There's a lot of contact, a lot of movement inside to mine.
Yeah, yours is a concern.
Yeah, and you need also a decent digital camera as well because.
Oh no, I've got a decent digital camera at home. Yeah, so it's
then
good.
you're gonna have to rig that as well.
Oh god, yeah.
If you had something like that or an iPhone or something like that, it has a too much blur. You can't see it. I did several rotoscope tests and I couldn't see something.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean I've got a Canon camera at home. You know, one of the sort of big-ish, not big, but you know, like proper ones. It's just had to work out how to do the video function on that because I got it without an instruction manual. So, but like I can have a few tests like that at home, like over Christmas and try rotoscope over that.
You
Like,
haven't got enough time.
yeah.
Your time constraints.
This was literally the animating time.
We have 3 weeks if that. We had even when everything pushed it to the rig, no, we even got to the footage.
Yeah, it's like
We have footage, what we did a test on, but we don't know where we are.
Because this is literally the animating time. We've
So what we're trying to suggest now is we either alter our ideas or we change it completely.
And Alex has kind of got a very simplistic idea that's simple, but it looks kind of cool.
Alright, what's the idea you have?
I'll show you. Anyways, I was checking some of the other ideas that I did in the sketchbook, and I drew some on the computer. The ideas I had was it's like so much 3-dimensional, but it's like a 2.5D, so it depends how you draw it. The idea is it's the world. It's like a little globe, it's a character here, and it's like a little path here, and there's different backgrounds.
Like the counting
There's
animation.
3 layers.
Oh, the counting animation, yeah.
There's 3 layers in the background. There's a sky, some buildings, and some objects that can interact with. The idea is the background will represent certain areas of film. One idea I have is like walking around and looking at galleries, but in the background it's as if it's part of the sky. And each area, every time he walks somewhere, it's like doors that will be open. When he walks through it, the transition changes, which is to a different aspect of film. So the next one will be
Yeah, you could do like, the deep in the background and a fish being past it.
However, this is just an idea I'm suggesting. It doesn't mean everybody has to alter all their ideas because all these animations are they're on their own. Everybody's concentrate on what your own 15 seconds. So for me, this seems like a better avenue for me because unless we have a rig, which we don't,
Yeah, that's
and due to a
the biggest problem.
Break up next Friday, and we haven't got much non-existent footage.
I mean, like, just off the top of my head, if we were to go off and do a different idea, I could still do the wrestling thing, but I just wouldn't rotoscope it. I'd just, like, do... Well, obviously, I'd get video footage to reference as well, but, like, I would do it just, like, as a thing by itself, like, traditional 2D thing. Yeah. I mean, that's doable. I can get, you know, footage well enough for that.
That's what I'm saying, it's just if anyone has any ideas,
and then we'll just find a way of linking them together, like at a later point or something, yeah.
At this point, it's kind of
the option that might be, yeah.
It's entirely up to you. I don't know where you are, because if you haven't tried doing any of the test photos yet, then I don't know what's going on with yours. And since you're in like an area where it's like, if it works, great.
If it doesn't, yeah.
You only have 2 weeks left
to
generate an idea and animate it to a certain degree.
Yeah, yeah.
What about yours? You said yours was quite successful.
Yes, it was actually very quick to do, to be honest.
Did you gather your footage what you're going to use, or obviously your footage is a paintbrush, so you paint it on?
I've got the bit where it's building things. But I'm happy with this idea.
You think I need to continue with that?
Yeah.
As long as it works, that's fine. Now it's can't do it without it. I'm not too sure about Callum. Yours is quite close to the beginning.
Yeah.
It's the shot ideas, but we still have the problem of trying to get the guitar into shot.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally a case of looking down at it.
Yeah.
So
maybe yours can still work, and possibly yours if you can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, as I said, I've got like I've got a selection of bags at home that could make it work, but it's just a matter of getting, like, the tripod to stay still without sort of moving around in it, sort of thing. But, like, I could still ask my dad about the helmet idea, so that we have something to put, obviously put down.
There's nothing wrong with the fact that this hasn't worked. We got a ton of content.
Exactly, the fact that it's, we've done that.
We haven't got anything.
Yeah.
You obviously can still link together, but like with regard to like, say if Alex decides he wants to do that, the globe one.
Yeah.
I might go in on that with you.
Yeah, so at least we have, like, we both say we have 2 ideas, and that could.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Because there is a way we can transition them off. If mine stay like still at the start, I could probably do some form of cheesy door opens go through with a white transition. It fades into yours.
Yeah, so we can make that work.
Changes.
Yeah, definitely.
So that could work.
I reckon that's. Yeah.
That will work. This is pretty much the last part of news. This is like the last.
This is it. This is literally we have to keep an idea now. We can't change it at all.
We will run out of time for us to be able to do. We just can't get our footage unless we can build some photos of the footage.
Yeah. As I said, like when I go home, like the Christmas break next week, I'll get my dad to. I'll record a conversation with my dad about the idea, because I did have like a quick sort of talk with him about it the other day, and he was he said he'd try and figure something out, because I think he's the most sensible person to ask about building things, stuff like that. Yeah, so solid. Right, you all good? Okay then.
So the idea suggestion is we'll gather our footage with best of your ability, and we look at it and we go, we could probably add certain bits and bobs to it. In fact, we can even do more things. Do different things to add into the pictures, reflections to change them into different outfits, or when people walk on, we've got other outfits that they're in.
That sounds really complicated.
Not really. Depends how you do it, really. That's a complication.
I can tell I'm going to have trouble with this.
Another thing, don't have to worry about getting it finished, because if that's what we're going to do, they're going to mark us down. But
Just trying to think, like, as far as the morphing things, I can do something. Just set up like a nice thing.
look for mine, I think they're putting out the getting out of bed. I'm just going to have it start so you can see the feet. Look up. You can.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with the idea of got now, think what else you could add. Because we've got till the 7th, we've got the 15th to present it, and the 17th to complete it. That's how we work. So the idea is if we have to say, put your extra time, say like on Christmas,
Just thinking like if we
do our magic, the family like, I really like this idea, this can actually work for them as well. We just
Yeah, I
start
don't know,
doing that.
because since it's the character, I thought you don't like ripping out.
yeah, something like ripping out or like sort of having sort of say putting this poster up on a
Oh, it
wall.
could be me posting it.
Exactly. And then it
yeah.
like you can rip through it or like sort of zooms in a little bit on the mask. And it zooms out and he's like
You know, you can have fun with that because you have to give the reference of somebody ripping it out.
If I'm going to do the, I'm like to avoid doing it outside, but I don't know how to fix it. So, because the idea for that magic idea is walking about and putting it poster. And is it possible that I can do the bit where he rips out? And it
oh
cuts
yeah,
to
no,
you?
by all means, yeah.
I haven't got to do that. It's just like so I'll do that when he goes and rips out and get it into the shot. So we're probably going to need to plan out how that house is going to be.
Yeah, and what he's gonna look like.
Yeah.
What the style.
Have you got your story?